Former President Trump defends himself over documents he says he declassified.
You can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it.
Why his lawyers haven't filed with the court that process.
There doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be.
We'll sort out what's legal. Russians protest Putin and flee the country after his demand they fight in Ukraine. The new pressure on Moscow and the face-off today at the UN. Trouble brewing in the tropics. Concern for oil refineries in the Gulf. Tracking the new threat days after Fiona slammed Puerto Rico. Alex Jones defiant in his defamation trial.
I've already said I'm sorry hundreds of times, and I'm done saying I'm sorry.
What the jury deciding his punishment is hearing.
The U.S. government said the Russians staged a false flag to start the Ukraine war, and I believe it.
The Tylenol killer. New questions in the 40-year-old case. Investigating body parts found in a suitcase in a New York apartment. And the boomerang generation. How long mom and dad's support is lasting. Today at the pump, the average price nationwide for a gallon of gas, $3.68. It's actually gone up 0.2 cents overnight. Gas now slightly up 2 straight days after dropping for more than 3 months. A gallon costs 49 cents more than it did this time last year. On Wall Street, the Dow down 107, S&P down 32, NASDAQ down 153. Developments in a 40-year-old cold case. Why investigators say they could be close to solving the Tylenol murder mystery. Deadly protests spreading across Iran. The outrage over the morality police and how authorities are cracking down. But first, Alex Jones taking the stand for the first time in his latest Sandy Hook defamation trial. It was wild at times in Connecticut today. On his first day in the courtroom, Alex Jones did what Alex Jones does. Near the end of the day, the whole thing devolved into chaos. A lawyer questioned Jones over his claims that family members were crisis actors. Our team members are not tolerated. The individual involved in this incident will never be allowed to travel with us in the future. Prosecutors say flight attendants had to restrain Lee with seatbelt extenders. Cops then removed him when the plane landed. The FBI reports it's continuing to investigate that. Magnitude earthquake rattled southwestern Mexico. Struck early this morning in the state of Michoacan. It's an aftershock of the deadly quake that hit the same area 3 days ago. This time, tremors felt all the way to Mexico City, about 300 miles east. This video shows people there evacuating their homes in the middle of the night. Damage mostly localized. Officials report scattered blackouts, buildings damaged, and in some cases, it did trigger mudslides. Parts inside suitcases. That's what cops say they found inside a New York City apartment. What we're learning about the investigation and what he's known as Fat Leonard, a notorious defense contractor and convicted felon on the run for weeks, but no more. Wait till you hear where he was headed. Next window, Tuesday, the eventual Artemis 1 mission, the first step in NASA's quest to return humans to our moon. And look here, this is the brand new image of the planet Neptune, courtesy of the James Webb Space Telescope. NASA released this one showing what it reports is the clearest look at the planet's rings in more than 30 years. That's when Voyager 2 did a flyby. It was 1989. The Webb image also shows several of Neptune's moons. And see the white spots there? Scientists say those are methane ice clouds. Neptune typically looks blue to us, but the Webb's infrared camera shows this whiter looking thing. Neptune is about 4 times wider than Earth and 30 times farther away from the sun than we are. 70 seconds left on a race to the finish. The special master in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case is now demanding proof to back up former President Trump's claim that the FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago. Some Russians are trying to flee their country as Vladimir Putin mobilized hundreds of thousands of reserve troops, we're told, to fight in Ukraine. Potential hurricane threat. See it in there? The National Hurricane Center of Mexico next week, and one